This video is over identifying functions or not-functions, and these are our practice problems. For number 1, we have a table. When we are deciding if a table is a function or not a function, we are looking at the input values. The input values are the x values. Our x values are -3, -1, 1, and 3. This is a function because none of the x values repeats. You could also say that each x value is used one time. The -3 and the +3 are different. The -1 and the +1 are different. For number 2, we have the equation y equals -3x squared plus 10. Remember, when we were talking about equations, we said x can have an exponent. Y cannot. So, in this problem, y is by itself, x has the exponent, so this would be a function. And again, just like we mentioned, because x can have an exponent. For number 3, it's a graph, so we use what is called the vertical line test. Remember, the vertical line test is where we draw a straight line anywhere on the graph and see how many times does it touch the picture. It touches my circle picture up at the top, and it touches down at the bottom, so this would be not a function. It is not a function because the vertical line touches the graph twice. For number 4, we have a set of points. When we have a set of points, we're looking again at only the input values, which are the x values. So that's the first number. So if I go through and circle the first number in each grouping, we're going to compare them and see how many times each grouping and each number is used. So the first number is a -3. The second number is a 13. The third number is a 6. It goes fourth is a 13 again, and 22. So the 13 is used twice. So this is not a function because 13 is an x value or an input value that is used more than once. For number 5, we have another equation. Now, before we talked about how the x value can have an exponent. And we talked about how the y value cannot have an exponent. However, our exception to this rule was the equation x squared plus y squared. If we have that equation, it is a function. It is a function, and you can say because it is the exception to the equation rule. Only that equation with the y having an exponent is a function. For number 6, we have another graph, so we're going to do what is called the vertical line test. Remember, we're going to take a line and we're going to draw it straight down anywhere on the graph, and we're going to see how many times it touches. My red line that I drew touches my graph in one location, meaning this is a function. It is a function because the vertical line, that's the line we drew, touches the graph one time. For number 7, we have a table. When we're talking about tables, we're going to look at the input value, which is the x values. Looking at the x values, we have 25 and 25, so that number is used twice. We also have 36 and 36, which is used twice. The input values, the x values, can only be used once. So this is not a function. It is not a function because the x values, the input values, are used more than once.